NCAA Football April 11, 2018 4:27 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time January 15, 2018 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time UCLA topped Texas A. How does it compare to some of the greatest comebacks ever in college football? Use left or right buttons to navigate. Swipe left or right to navigate. The 2017 college football season began with the biggest comeback in 11 years. UCLA opened its season with a shocking rally from 34 points down to top Texas A. The Bruins' victory represents the second biggest comeback in FBS history. More, Josh Rosen reminds everyone he's a light from the 2010 Iron Bowl to Michigan State's 35-point turnaround against Northwestern in 2006. Here's a look at some of the greatest comebacks ever in college football. Getty Images. Under then-coach John Smith, Michigan State engineered the largest comeback in college football history against Northwestern. The Spartans opened the game with a field goal before the Wildcats tallied 38 unanswered to take a 35-point advantage with 9:54 left in the third quarter. More, college football's biggest blowouts bet on their next possession. Spartans quarterback Drew Stanton led a 9-play, 65-yard drive to start shifting momentum back in his team's favor. Over the next 22 minutes, Michigan State's defense forced 4 3-and-outs and 2 interceptions to give the Spartans a chance to kick a game-winning field goal with 13 seconds remaining. Getty Images. Texas A. The Aggies took a 38-10 advantage into halftime and grew that lead to 34 points with just 19 minutes remaining in the game. More, Rosen reminds everyone why he's elite. UCLA running back Soso Jamabo got the comeback started for the Bruins with a score. Quarterback Josh Rosen followed with a touchdown pass to cut the deficit to 44-24. The Aggies' collapse was on. Texas A. The Aggies missed a field goal on the ensuing drive and went 3-and-out before another Rosen touchdown pass. UCLA completed its rally with a 10-yard touchdown to Jordan Lasley with less than a minute remaining. Rosen registered 491 yards and 4 touchdowns in the contest. Getty Images. Miami jumped out to a 31-0 lead over Maryland before quarterback Frank Reich entered the game after halftime. Reich orchestrated 6 consecutive scoring drives as the Terrapins grabbed a 42-34 lead. Miami wouldn't let Maryland come back without a fight. The Hurricanes needed only a 2-point conversion with under a minute left to tie the game. But Keita Covington brought down Miami's Melvin Bratton on the attempt, preserving Maryland's stunning win. Getty Images. Minnesota seemed to be headed for an easy victory after Ohio State threw 3 interceptions and lost a fumble midway through the second quarter. The Golden Gophers had jumped out to a 31-0 lead by that time, but that was before Ohio State quarterback Greg Frey finally sparked the Buckeyes' offense. More, 16 most hated college football players. Frey threw 3 touchdowns, including the go-ahead score with 15 seconds left, and rushed for another as the Buckeyes overcame the deficit. Ohio State outscored the Gophers 33-6 in the second half to complete the comeback bid. Getty Images. Texas Tech's offense was on full display against Minnesota at the 2006 Insight Bowl in Arizona, but only after the Gophers scored the game's first 28 points to hold a 35-7 halftime lead. After Minnesota's field goal to open the third quarter, which put the Red Raiders in a 31-point deficit, quarterback Graham Harrell tossed a 43-yard touchdown pass to Joe LaFalani to make the score 38-14. From there, the Red Raiders tallied 24 unanswered points to tie the game. Texas Tech tied the score on a field goal as time expired in regulation, and the Red Raiders clinched the bowl win on a Shannon Woods touchdown run in overtime. Harrell threw for 445 yards and tallied 3 total touchdowns in the contest. Getty Images. TCU starting quarterback Trevone Boykin sat out due to a suspension. Oregon had a 31-0 lead at the half. The Ducks appeared well on their way to a victory at the 2016 Alamo Bowl. But an injury to Ducks quarterback Vernon Adams Jr. broke Oregon's momentum. Meanwhile, TCU backup Bram Kohlhausen delivered 4 total touchdowns in his final collegiate game, including the game winner in triple overtime, to lead the Horned Frogs past Oregon in San Antonio. Getty Images. Marshall quarterback Byron Leftwich attempted 70 passes in the 2001 GMAC Bowl, the highest-scoring bowl game in FBS history. After trailing 38-8 at halftime, Marshall had a chance to win the game in regulation. Leftwich found Darius Watts for an 11-yard score with 7 seconds left to tie the game, but Marshall missed the extra point, sending the contest to overtime. Leftwich, however, threw another touchdown, this one for 8 yards, clinching victory for Marshall. He tallied 576 passing yards and 4 touchdowns in the contest. Getty Images. For 3 quarters, Houston dominated Notre Dame in the 1979 Cotton Bowl. The Cougars held a 34-12 lead with 7:37 left in the game, and were well on their way to the win. To make matters worse, Notre Dame quarterback Joe Montana was fighting the flu and had missed most of the second half. Montana returned to his final collegiate game halfway through the fourth quarter, sparking the Fighting Irish to an unlikely rally. With 4:15 remaining, he threw for a 2-yard touchdown as Notre Dame moved to within 6. After Houston turned the ball over on downs, Montana found Chris Haynes as time expired for the game winner. Getty Images. Auburn's national championship hopes were almost crushed by rival Alabama in Tuscaloosa in 2010. The Tigers entered the matchup undefeated and ranked second in the country, but it was the Crimson Tide who took command early. Alabama opened the contest with 24 consecutive points before Cam Newton ran for a 5-yard score just under 3 minutes before halftime. From there, the Tigers scored 14 of the game's next 17 points to cut the Alabama advantage to 27-21. Then, with 4:10 remaining, Newton found Philip Lutzenkirchen for a 7-yard touchdown as Auburn took its first lead of the contest. Auburn stopped the Crimson Tide on its next 2 possessions and held on for the win. Newton recorded 4 total touchdowns in the game. More top 20 college football states. Newton went on to be named the 2010 Heisman Trophy winner in December, and Auburn went on to top Oregon in the BCS national title game, perhaps none of which would have been possible were it not for that improbable comeback in Tuscaloosa. Getty Images. Georgia took control of the 2018 College Football Playoff Championship game early, holding its second 13-point lead of the game after Jake Fromm hit Mecole Hardman for an 80-yard touchdown pass on the second drive of the second half. Alabama, however, added a field goal 2 possessions later and kicked another after an 8-play, 71-yard drive to open the final quarter. The Crimson Tide then evened the score with 3:49 remaining on a touchdown pass by freshman backup quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, who replaced starter Jalen Hurts following halftime, to force overtime. More, Nick Saban's message never failed Alabama after Georgia kicked a field goal to open overtime. Tagovailoa connected with receiver Devonta Smith down the sideline for a 41-yard touchdown. The Crimson Tide completed its comeback to earn the title, and Tagovailoa finished the game with 3 touchdowns.